welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. Anyway, how you doing, man?
Oh, dude, this week has been a little rough. The baby was sick until Thursday.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's never fun.
No, I actually am going to have a hit on my paycheck because I exceeded my sick days taking care of her.
God, how's that going to affect? Oh, well.
About $200 on my check.
Okay. Do you have like monthly sick days or yearly?
I have yearly. I get 10. Okay. I get 10 sick days. 2 of those are personal days. 8 are sick days. I started out with 13, but because the children.
Do you have PTO?
No.
Well, I mean.
Well, I can take a sabbatical for about 90 days at 60% pay.
Do you have bereavement?
No. Days off for teachers are kind of balls.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, like I end up using most of my days, mostly one kids, but also in the past, cancer scare and other medical stuff. Like I have not been able to build up my days.
Yeah.
Like maybe every year I might take 1 or 2 mental health days, like one a semester.
It sounds like teachers need a raise and more benefits.
I need the benefits I used to have. Like that would be great.
Yeah. If it weren't.
But yeah, baby's fever broke.
That's good.
Friday she acted like, so Thursday fever at 1 a.m. Okay, I got put in. 6 a.m. rest of the day, no fever. Child running around like a crazy little gremlin because, of course, she's mine. So she's going to I'm going to climb shit now.
Well, it seems like kids have the high and low lows where it's like, if they're sick, they're fucking knocked out and it's scary. And then after they get done with it, they're like, all good.
It's a cold. Like, we went to the doctor twice because the second time I took her to the doctor, her nose was bleeding.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, it turns out because I hadn't clipped her fingernails and she shoved her whole finger up there to find the snail that lives in the back of your head according to where the sidewalk ends. Like she dug up in there and like all of a sudden was bleeding. I was like, oh God. And the doctor goes, hey, look, it's cool.
It happens.
It happens. It's your little girl. I understand it. And then he looked at her and Freya smiled and he's like, she's sick. She has a fever. It's viral. Don't give her any more of the antibiotics or you're just going to be changing red shitty diapers. Because the antibiotic turns the shit red, and they forgot to tell me that when they first gave it to me. So I changed one red poopy diaper, and I was like,
Oh, I would be freaking the fuck out.
It was like, okay, I hate to say it this way. You remember when Dewey ate all the Funfetti cupcakes and shit red for a week?
Yeah.
That level of red.
Where it was just, it wasn't even like a blood red. It was
it was artificial red. Because, I mean, the thing is, if you ever have blood in your stool's black.
Yeah. Or, I mean, varying. Why are we talking about this? Wait. Before we say anything, we're talking about blood and shit in our paranormal podcast. We need.
I'm talking about the Golgotha. No.
Oh, God.
No, it's just that, like, literally, like, this. My week has been sick baby.
Yeah. Sick baby.
On a positive note, I got my garden planted.
Oh,
mostly planted.
Yeah, our garden is coming along really good. So my wife Ruby, she is like
my wife.
She is. She bought a bunch of stuff, and then my roommate, who is not an outside person normally, and for the first 2 years, didn't really do much in the yard aside from like take the pups outside and do things like that.
Stand underneath the awning, and be like, "Y'all shit over there,
yeah, go
away
over
from
there."
me." And then our text is like, "Suplex."
And he does the thing, and then she's like, pushes him away. But now she is just like gung ho, just fully in with the garden. She has like since we put up the fence and we initially designated like plots for everybody. Like I'm taking care of the pepper plot. We got like the biggest plot, which has tomatoes, greens, and okra.
What greens did y'all plant?
We got collards, we got lettuce. We're gonna do some spinach.
Have you messed with Ruby about planting collard greens?
No, she actually had collard greens about as they were like 5 feet, not 5, but 3 feet across.
Already?
Yeah, we harvested them.
Oh, wait, y'all planted early, though.
Yeah, we planted those early. They're a little bit thinner because I think we needed to get them out in the
sun.
Yeah. But now we have a whole irrigation system. We have about 4 or 5 more plots. And she just set up lattice work today, like complicated lattice work for both our loofahs. We got loofahs in the yard. What?
Loofahs, like the sponge?
Yeah. She wanted loofahs.
Oh, wait, you're growing the loofah that's grown from a squash, not...
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I had to go, hold on, loofahs or sponges?
No, we're talking about the squash
one that dries out and then can exfoliate.
Yeah, you can use it to, But we have...
Don't use it on the grundle.
Hewitt, I wasn't expecting to.
Look, you don't think about it. Like, I got the Jimmy DiResta, like, soap that Emily got me. I didn't realize one side of it was exfoliating. And I learned it the hard way.
Jesus. Oh, my God.
The side of my hand was really smooth, man. And then, like, everything else was...
There was just red marks everywhere.
It was gritty, and like
it was not. Do the gritty though.
One swipe and realized I was making a poor life decision.
One swipe, and then that's all it took. Everything was raw.
And to answer the question that someone at home might be thinking, did you use it on your arms and chest first? Yes, I did. I don't register pain well until it hits areas that don't normally experience pain.
But we got them cutes growing in.
You got those cutes. Did you get Boston Picklers or did you get the Long Boys?
We got the Long Boys.
That's what we got too. I haven't seen Boston Picklers out yet.
I mean, it's hard. Like the thing is, it's like the variety out there. We actually had to plant some from seeds.
I'm going to say this because Emily and I usually get the bunny plants.
Yeah,
because I already started. Not a lot of choice. Like beefsteak tomatoes were not available.
We were lucky, and we went to the Ag Center when they did their stuff out in West Money. And
West Money.
I'm trying to be.
He's showing his tattoo and saying West Money now.
Yeah. I'm actually a rap artist. It's West Monroe. I was trying to be.
Yes, he is the rap artist Chris Brown.
Look, I was trying to, be secretive about where we live, but then I realized
watch out. He's going to punch somebody. Not me, please.
We doing this on the podcast? You gonna out me on this podcast? You're gonna make this joke on the podcast?
You've already made the joke on the podcast.
So I was okay. Look, I was just saying West Money as a way to signal where I live without doxing myself. But yeah, I live in West Monroe, Louisiana. I've already said it.
We've said it. Okay, future Chris is gonna bleep it just to spite us.
Yeah.
You know what? No. Future Chris is gonna put over you Lafayette.
I'm going to bleep something, and neither of us is going to know what it is until I do it.
That's a safe bet.
But, yeah, no, we got from there. We got, a variety of different tomatoes. We got, the Creole tomatoes.
Oh, those are really heat resistant.
Yeah, and they're really good in salsas. We got...
the Cherokee purples are usually good, too.
I love Cherokee purples. The biggest problem with Cherokee purples is they don't produce much.
No, they don't. You'll get maybe
3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been gardening. You've been gardening. We're doing the victory garden because of tariffs. Actually, we garden just about every year.
Yeah, I think there's a video somewhere where someone asked if you and I buried bodies in my backyard because we got your old...
Oh, my old tiller?
Your old wheel plow, and we made ruts, and that's when that was the year we first planted cayennes. Remember, that's when we made the cayenne mead because we got so many damn cayennes.
Yeah. No, holy shit, we've been gardening for over 10 years.
Yeah, almost 15.
Yeah, because when I was living at my parents' house, I set up gardens over there.
And Emily and I started gardening right after we moved into my grandmother's old house, and that was before our first anniversary. And so yeah, almost 15 years now.
There was a stint where I didn't garden because I lived in an apartment, and then I lived at that duplex, which we did like potted gardening, but I don't really count that. And then like I moved into like downtown in the garden district, and I had a small garden there. But since we've moved into the new place, my house.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of my garden is strawberries because I had to break up the strawberry bed.
Oh my God. There are so much blackberries in my yard.
None of the strawberries died when I moved them.
Strawberries are resistant here. They're resilient.
My strawberries, I think, are spiteful. But hey, you want to hear a story about something that's spiteful?
Sure.
All right. What do you know about Coffin Cutters?
I've heard the name. Like, I know it's like South Louisiana folklore. Are we going back there?
Yeah, we're going down there. They're also known as the Devil Crawfish or the Thunder Crawfish.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of these before.
It sounds really cool. So let's start off with a little story. Pierre had been sick, real sick.
Mm-hmm.
He had come down with a fever that lasted a week and grew progressively less and less respondent. One day, the doctor told Pierre's wife he was gone, and they needed to go ahead and make them arrangements. Now, since he had been said to have died of the yellow fever, Pierre was not embalmed, but laid in a pine box and buried on a Friday. Saturday, Pierre woke up. His breathing had been so shallow the doctor nor anyone else in the room could have clocked it. Now, luckily for Pierre, his wife was always one to pay attention to the newest trends. And she had got one of those fancy coffins that had a little rope through a pipe to a bell. Because one, she never trusted this doctor anyway, because that doctor told her that one time Pierre had a toothache and it turned out to be an abscess in his leg.
That's a bit far away.
It is, but I mean, at the same time, the dentist was the barber.
Yeah, barber.
And the dentist, he was a dentist, he was a doctor, he was a barber, he was a grocer. Also was the chairman for the Lions Club, which makes him immediately untrustworthy. I said it, civic organizations. Now, a doctor worth his salt would have known that laudanum was the best treatment for ankles, not cocaine, as he had prescribed to Pierre's wife. So she got Pierre that coffin with the bell. So if he awoke deep under the ground in the swamp, all he had to do was start pulling the rope, and it would ring a bell.
So this is like the...
Yeah, like the ding, ding, da, ding, 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 because I buried you alive type stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So now he started pulling the chain religiously. Now, he couldn't hear anything because, I mean, he's 6 feet under the ground. But he pulled and he pulled and he pulled. And after a few minutes, he started hearing a tapping on the coffin, just... But at first he was saved. He thought he was saved. He was relaxed. But then he noticed that the tapping came from the side.
Oh. Oh, no.
And the other side. He's like, that ain't right. Now, as the grave diggers kept digging and digging in the soft earth, hearing the bell ring and ring and ring more frantically as their shovels moved the wet, damp earth of the South Louisiana swamp. They kept going and kept going. Now, as they cleared the lid of the coffin, they noticed there were several holes in it, and the bell stopped just before the last shovel struck the wood. As they opened the coffin lid with horror, they were greeted with the scene of massive green and red crawfish dining on what was left of poor Pierre. The poor man had survived the fever only to be eaten by the devil's crawfish.
Oh my goodness.
The Coffin Cutters.
This sounds tasty.
Now, truth be told, yes, the Coffin Cutter is actually one tasty crawfish, according to many of the people who imbibe upon the seasoned bugs boiled within liquid.
Yeah. This is why crawfish boils are essential here in Louisiana, because they'll eat the corpse.
Now, to describe the Coffin Cutter / the Devil's Crawfish, they are also known as Cambarius diogenesis, and the painted version of the Devil's Crawfish is known as Cambarius ludovicanus. So the Coffin Cutter is 100% real. This type of crawfish is 100% real. Now, they are known as the devil's crawfish because majority of their body is green, but the edge of each plate of their chitinous armor is blood or burgundy red. So it goes from like kind of a drab green to deep wine red along their edges.
So so we have crawfish here. I mean, we talk about like, North Louisiana is like, you don't see.
We got them, but I mean, most of ours are your standard issue everyday crawfish
which are like brown. Yeah,
camouflage. Now, they're also partly named for the Greek philosopher Diogenes. Now, Diogenes is the founder of the Cynic philosophy, who threw off societal complexities and slept in the street in a large ceramic jar. Like, literally, this dude was like as naked as he could be without getting arrested and went and slept in a giant like olive oil jar. And he is the founder of this Cynic philosophy, which you and I are both cynics.
Like cynical cynic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, the only difference between any of the different species of devil's crawfish is the color of their blood. The painted crawfish bleed blue.
So they have the same blood as like, what is it? The fucking crabs?
Yeah, they have a slightly different colored blood. However, a lot of scientists say that that's not really probably enough to actually consider them different species. It might just be a mutation. However, a lot of other scientists go, bruh, they bleed a different color. That's a different species.
Horseshoe crabs, that's what I'm talking about. That have like the bright blue blood.
Now, these are just 2 of the 39 species of crawfish that live in the state of Louisiana. The devil's crawfish or the coffin cutter can be found between South Louisiana, all the way up along the Mississippi through Illinois and into the Ontario province of Canada. So there are crawfish around the Great Lakes. That was news to me.
I mean, I know that there's crawfish. Like, crawfish are actually, they're all the way in Texas. And
yeah, I just didn't think that'd be all the way up that far north where it's that
cold. Yeah.
But they also call them crayfish up there, which is 100% wrong.
I get so mad when, like, I'm typing on Word.
And I say crayfish instead of crawfish.
When I put crawfish and it's like, do you mean crayfish? I'm like, no, motherfucker. I mean crawfish.
Now, in general, the devil's crawfish are about 3 to 4 inches with green and wine-colored edged plates.
Oh, that's a big boy.
You are holding your fingers about 8 inches apart.
Oh, so it's about that big.
All right. You see this knuckle? That's not an inch. You see this knuckle?
Yeah.
That's an inch. So, double that. It's actually the devil's crawfish are smaller. By about.
Am I just dumb?
No, it just means you might need to reevaluate what you write down on certain places.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You laid the joke right out.
That's funny.
Hewitt, this is 100% 4 inches. Chris, that's most of a ruler. Oh.
That's 5 inches, isn't it? No.
Anyway, now the painted variety may have a yellow stripe or an orange stripe down the spine on top of the normal green and red coloration.
So they're like that big.
Yeah, they're about that big. Like, they're not a tiny crawfish, but they're about an inch or so smaller than standard boiling crawfish. Now, the thing that gives them their nickname, the Coffin Cutters, is they have massive spade-shaped pincers.
But they just...
Like, their claws are more like, they're larger than a regular crawfish, and they are meant for shoveling, not for gripping.
So
they're
so
tunneling.
They can... Okay. That might be why they're able to live up north if they go deep underground.
Now, they normally live up to 3 years in the wild, so they do not have a long lifespan. And they are there are 3 species of crawfish. There's a species of crawfish that mostly lives in the water. There's one that lives in water and digging, and then there are the ones that primarily are burrowers. And the devil's crawfish, or the coffin cutter, is primarily a burrower. They can dig up to 20 feet deep and branch out in a massive subterranean network with side chambers, egg chambers, and multiple entrances that may not all have the chimneys stereotypically attributed to crawfish.
Like, yeah, okay, so
they might just have a hole in the ground that opens up. Are you looking up a picture of them right now?
I am. They're pretty.
I thought so too.
Yeah, okay, so the one I'm looking at is all green. It has some red streaks on the edges.
Yeah, it's got like some highlights.
And it has like orange to yellow stripes going down the middle.
Yeah, that is the painted variety. Now, the chimneys they make are...
look, some lures.
Yep. Yeah, when I was looking, one of the first things that popped up was that if we ever make it up to the pyramid and go do the ghost investigation at that bar / whatever it is that lets you like go in for a couple hours before they open, there is a lot of those actually at Bass Pro.
Really? Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense on the Mississippi River.
Yeah, but also I fully feel we need to go stay at the Bass Pro Pyramid. However, I've been informed by my wife I have to take her first.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, I'm not disappointed.
Now, the chimneys that they make are made with sun-baked clay balls stacked and cemented together. So unlike regular crawfish, they kind of like bubble it out and go blah, 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 and put it up and make the chimneys we're used to. Coffin cutters will stick theirs in the sun and let them dry and then stack them and then spit mud on them and basically build a little brick chimney. To tell you how strong they are, they will break a lawnmower blade.
Are you serious?
They make clay bricks, dried clay bricks, not just mud piles. They make bricks.
These little shits seem like a real nuisance. I'm going to say that right now.
They are extremely territorial and will fight over their burrows with just about anything. Apparently, there was one possum near Bossier.
Poor possum.
That had 3 of them. By the way, all 3 of the crawfish died. But in postmortem, they killed the possum because they clamped onto the neck.
Oh, was this like
It dug into the, like it was trying to dig in and get to them. It was almost like, more or less, this possum dug into an ant nest that was full of crawfish.
Oof. Oof, oof, oof.
Now, they leave the burrows to mate, eat, and during thunderstorms, which is why they are called thunder crawfish, is because when severe storms hit, thunder shaking the ground drives them above ground because the vibrations are apparently, they don't like them.
Okay.
Now, they mate in the fall, they lay their eggs in the spring. So a male will come and mate with the female, and then she will carry her eggs all winter on her curled tail next to her abdomen,
right? Like
and then release them in. The larvae will stay with their mother for up to 3 weeks before being released. They eat mostly decayed plant matter with supplemental bugs, worms, or carrion. The nickname is due to the prevalence of their burrows found in cemeteries, but there is absolutely no proof that they have ever broken into a coffin wood, not plexiglass, but fiberglass or anything else. There's no proof that they actually made it in there, but since they're always in the cemetery,
they get the name.
And they get the big mean claws. They get, it's thought that. Now,
I can imagine if you're a undertaker or if you're a caretaker of a cemetery or graveyard and you're constantly digging plots.
And you're dealing with these boys that can dig 20 feet down.
And you're just like, God damn it, just
stop.
I don't want to get into your nest. And they're just sitting there like flipping you off.
With their big old massive crawfish hands. Now, this led me down some bunny trails. So, have you ever heard of the origin of the crawfish?
The origin of the crawfish?
The origin of the crawfish.
I haven't, but I'm excited to hear, and now I'm getting kind of hungry because I want crawfish.
Yeah, like here's the thing. I don't like crawfish, but I do love being at a crawfish boil and stealing the sausage and the corn from it.
Yeah, I think between the two of us, I love seafood.
Yeah,
I like shellfish. And
also, do you remember the last time we did a crawfish boil when?
Oh my God, it was so good.
And my wife destroyed. Like I had to give our buddy Timothy money, extra money. Like I helped pay for it, and then I gave him extra money because my wife went back for like seconds and thirds. I'm like, oh, she ate more than 1 pound, and we bought 1 pound per person. I owed him money.
I don't think he was mad about it, though.
No. He wasn't.
I mean, it's a huge compliment. People coming back for seconds, and then, God, that was so fucking good.
That's the only. I'm not gonna lie. That Emily made me eat a couple pieces of crawfish. That's about the only time I've done it, and it's the only time it wasn't rubbery to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the right people, like to cook, like my boss, he cooks some mean ass crawfish.
Yeah, I mean, and so here's the thing: is like anybody that doesn't live down here in the South, where you can get it pretty regularly, make your way down here during the months that the season is
Don't
good.
go to California and get the shit made with Sunny D.
And
I don't know.
And don't buy Chinese crawfish. Okay, I hate to say it that way because it sounds mean, but
well, it's more due to the fact that it's crawfish that's traveling on boat to here,
and it's been frozen before it makes it to you.
Don't just.
And like one of the rules with crawfish is if the tail is curled, you don't eat it.
Yeah.
Because it was dead beforehand.
No, if the tail is not curled.
Oh, all right. You're right. Okay. I'm sorry. I was about to get someone poisoned.
Yeah. So if the tail is not curled, if it's like just out, that means crawfish was dead. Because when you put a live crawfish in water that's boiling, it sounds bad, but it naturally curls up. It's a reflex. I know it sounds cruel and inhumane, but the crawfish dies pretty quickly.
And it's, according to Chris, delicious. Therefore, the inhumanity of it is countered by the flavor.
Look, we all tell ourselves things to make ourselves feel better, don't we? What is the origin of the crawfish?
So, when the British won the 7 Years' War, they took New France.
Okay,
they took Canada. They kicked the Acadians out of what they now call Nova Scotia, which used to be Acadia. Now, when the British kicked the French out of the islands... What the fuck did I write? Human and inhuman. Okay, I get it now. I'm sorry. I didn't put a dash.
What the fuck did I do?
I thought human and inhuman. What did you write? Oh, I forgot the dash. So when they kicked the French out, they kicked out both the human and the inhuman residents, which meant the poor homard. Homard is the French word for lobster.
So they kicked out the tiny lobster boys?
Yeah, well, they weren't tiny there. Now, the British were so cruel, they even took the poor creature, named it they called it a lobster because they lobbed it at the French boats as they left. So they grabbed these crustaceans, the poor homard, and they lobbed it at the boats and they said, take your lobsters, you Frenchy bastards, take them.
And then they make the most delicious meal.
Now, saying take your smelly mud bugs with you, take it, you dirty French poo nasties, you French fools.
It's very ironic for the British to say that.
Yeah. Now, those not thrown decided to follow the boats because they said, look, we're going to get eaten. And would we want to be British cuisine or French cuisine? And the lobsters decided the French at least know what butter is and what seasoning is. So they're going to follow them. And so they followed them and followed them and followed them. But here's the deal. It's thousands of miles from Arcadia all the way to Louisiana. And so these lobsters burned off so much weight. I mean, it's cardio day in and day out, because if they didn't keep moving, the boats would leave them and then they'd be like, what, are we by Virginia? What can Virginia do?
Now, why do we want to be in Virginia?
They salt their ham so much that you got to wash it 5 times to eat it. And then they we rest here.
And we're going to be next to New Hampshire. What is it, scramble they have? Ew, get out of here.
You know what? I was going to get on to you, but New Hampshire does have a tiny coastline.
It does have a tiny coastline.
It does have a tiny coastline, like all of
like Joe Biden used to go to the beach over there. I mean, he still does. He's not dead.
He goes to Delaware, where his house is.
I'm a moron. I was confusing Delaware. Oh my god.
No, to be fair, New Hampshire does have a very tiny coastline next to Maine. But then it's like, God, oh God, we're next to Georgia. Georgia's just going to try to cover us in hot wing sauce. They just kept going. Then they looked at Florida and just said nope.
To be fair, actually, what sounds really good is crawfish done in a lemon pepper style wet from Georgia or Atlanta. That does sound good.
Okay. Then they looked at Florida and just said, nah.
Yeah,
but because of all this working and because they weren't eating much, they lost so much weight, and the homard, the lobster, became smaller and smaller because they just kept going, and they became the mud bug that we all know and love, known as the crawfish down here. Now, by the time they made it to Louisiana, the once large and heavy lobster had reduced themselves to the small ornery crawfish. The Cajuns would eat them, but the crawfish would in turn eat their dead.
Oh.
Connecting back to the idea of the coffin cutter. Now, that is
So the coffin cutter was essentially like the tail of the coffin cutter. It's like, okay, you can eat us,
but we're going to eat your dead.
Yeah.
So there's like a trade there. I kind of like the Cajun story. Now, some native connections before I get into a Creole folktale. The Chickamauga tribe tells a story about how the Great Spirit made the world. And at first, everything was underwater. There was only fish and the crawfish and all the other crustaceans living underwater. And the Creator was like, I want to make some other stuff than y'all. Hey, crawfish, I need you to build great mounds and bring the land back up to the surface. So the crawfish piled mud up and eventually made the continent known as North America. And the crawfish piled a lot of dirt up in a spot that eventually became known as Natchez. Now, but man was extremely stubborn at this time and would not listen to the Great Spirit, so he gave him tobacco to help him chill out. It didn't help. The crawfish started pinching him as well. It didn't help. So, the Great Spirit then created women, and men started to listen and calm the fuck down. I'm sorry, I had to include the rest of the creation myth. Like, crawfish made the continents, but it's like, dudes, we're gonna fight. God, I'm gonna give you tobacco to chill out. We're gonna fight and smoke. I made you this thing called a woman. She gonna tell you you're a dumbass. Mankind listened.
I just like the idea that, like, in this creation myth, not to be disrespectful, but it's like men are just horny, essentially. Like that's how it comes off. It's like the men are rowdy, and then, you know, they have sex.
Well, think about the Christian creation myth, man. Like, Adam's hanging out with all the lions and stuff and naming stuff and then got bored, which means then God's probably tired of him, you know.
Man, we need more creation myths where, like, women are the central focus instead.
I mean, like, he made Eve because, like, I hate to say this, like, God's like, you made all the animals. Adam, don't do that to the tree.
Okay, here, fuck it.
Me, damn it, Adam. I'm gonna steal your rib. I made this, and Adam, holla.
Well, it's just like, okay, so we need more. We need more legends about the creation of man that focus more on the women, where it's not just man horny, man get woman.
Well, we can't use the Egyptian one then, because what was it? The Egyptian god started playing with themselves.
I think the name was actually Nut.
Yeah, and then I think it might have been, that wasn't Zeb. It might have been Ammon. It might have been Ammon. And then all of a sudden, like, he did something, fell asleep because, like, he got tired after doing it. And then all of a sudden he wakes up and there's humans everywhere. And he's like, what the fuck?
Well, you also have the story of Horus and Set wrestling to try and come in each other. But then Horus comes on a piece of cabbage. And after they get tired of fighting, Set eats the cabbage. And then that's how they figure out Horus won, because they call forth Horus's semen and it comes out of his mouth. This is an actual story.
Oh my!
I love ancient Egyptian mythology.
Okay,
It's
let's
great.
get back on subject before we start talking about bukkake fucking sauerkraut.
Bukkake kraut? It's a team sport.
You know what? What's bad is Emily showed me a TikTok and it's like bukkake, no, but tasty kake, tasty cake,
God damn it,
tasty kake, and I'm like, I will never look at cheap Little Debbie knockoffs the same again. Cream filled my ass.
Americans abroad cannot look at like a Japanese menu without snickering because there is actually a dish.
Yeah, there is bukkake sauce. Now, this is a Creole folktale I'm about to tell you. So let me go over a couple things that are important with this. So Corey Vinny is a Creole dialect found in South Louisiana. I probably did not pronounce Corey Vinny correct.
I thought you were talking about like a Sopranos character.
No. Now, it is an endangered Louisiana version of French. Like, it has very few speakers, and there is currently a project to, well, there was, I don't know if it's still in existence right now, a project to try to bring it back from extinction or
considering
possible extinction.
the current Louisiana
Exactly.
administration. Yeah.
Now, Padisa means don't say that. The story is set in the land of Padisa. So a lot of stories, like a book I showed you when we went down to Paracon in the Acadian Village shop that I almost bought if it hadn't been $30, was a collection of stories like this, but they were mostly in French.
Yeah.
So that I'm not gonna lie, that stopped me from spending $30 on a book, but also $30 on a book of folk tales. It's kind of a hard push for me right now. Hate to say it that way, but money.
I mean, speaking to the choir, preaching to the choir here.
Now, the background for this story is there are multiple creatures that exist. They are both that creature, but also the personification of the entire species. So crawfish kept fighting against the Mississippi River and pushing land back up that the river washed out to have a place for her children, other crawfish to live, but also for humans to live. So crawfish is always fighting the Mississippi River. Now, crawfish is both a crawfish, a woman, and all crawfish at the same time in this story.
So it's like a Jesus God.
Well, it's
Holy
also
Ghost.
like raccoon is a raccoon, a man, and all raccoons. So think about like old folk stories like Brer Rabbit is...
So like the personification of a particular... Okay.
Yes. Concept, person, species.
Right.
They're all kind of the same thing. And that's important for later in this story. Now, she is described as hard-headed, having a large shell. She is both a kaiju and tiny at the same time in this story. Because she fights the whole Mississippi River and shoves an entire continent up by herself. But she is also a very small crawfish.
She's just tiny lady.
Now, other individuals in this story are going to be Copper Lapin, which is a rabbit who is the trickster in any story in this entire universe of Creole short stories. There's also Bet Piat, the stinky beast. What animal is a skunk?
Yeah.
Now, the world had begun to stink and many creatures died from the stink. Now, Crawfish planted herself on the edge of the land to see what it was and stared down to scare whatever made the stink to try to run people away. I wrote in parentheses, Mama Glare.
So is she doing like the
black
stance?
She is doing black, like big old claws or tiny claws, however you want to view it, just all of a sudden comes out of the water like Godzilla, yet not. And it's just mama staring, like Black Snake moan from the porch stare at the whole world that stinks.
It's like, what the fuck is this?
Now, the magician, Dwarf Palmetto, the plant, Dwarf Palmetto, showed up at Crawfish's house wearing his green suit with his long top hat, his alligator shoes. He had to tell her that everything was bad. everything's bad, Mama Crawfish. And she's like, all right, baby Palmetto, little dwarf Palmetto, come in here. She already knew it, and she knew exactly who to blame for it. Now, she blamed Compère Lapin, the rabbit. But Dwarf Palmetto told her, no, I talked with Cypress and I talked with Oak and assured him Lapin is involved, but Lapin is not the main suspect here.
Not the culprit.
So over gumbo and a big cup of coffee,
of course,
they talked shit on Bet and Lapin and came up with a plan on how to deal with them. Like literally, Crawfish and Dwarf Palmetto, a crawfish and a plant, ate gumbo, drank coffee, talked shit on these two dudes and said, we got a way to deal with them. And I absolutely love this. Like the literal translation of a crawfish and a plant talking, as well as a dude in a green suit with alligator shoes and a little old grandma. Now, eventually others showed up from the town and they decided to have a big party and not invite Bet and Lapin. Because they knew if they did not invite them, they're going to show up anyway. Now, Crawfish suggested they make a huge boil. Yes, a crawfish boil set up by crawfish. Because crawfish are cannibals.
I mean, they are called the Coffin Cutters. Let's be real here.
Now, Bet and Lapin showed up, even though they were not invited as expected. However, they got distracted by unattended piglets. Now, here's the thing that does not make sense for rabbits. Lapin was easily distracted by cracklings, because apparently the favorite food of Lapin?
Pork cracklings?
Pork cracklings. So apparently a jackrabbit, is all about them pork cracklings.
I mean, they are good.
I fully understand why, but...
It is wacky.
It is wacky, but so...
I could see a little rabbit, like, sitting there nibbling on some cracklings.
Yeah, but, like, I don't see a jackrabbit trying to steal a whole-ass piglet.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's exactly what Lapin tries to do. So, Lapin jumps into the pen, but the pen is extremely muddy. It's extremely muddy, so the two slip and fall, trying to grab the baby pigs, and the pigs run off back into the pen. And while they in the mud, their behinds start to get pinched.
Uh-oh.
And it hurts, and it grabs, Bit Piat yells that they pinched his go-go and fled, unable to make a stench because his go-go got pinched shut.
Oh, no. Not the go-go.
Now, here's my thing, is if I heard someone yell that someone pinched my go-go, I'm not thinking you ass. But apparently go-go is a slang term for your butt. But apparently whatever was pinching him pinched his butt so hard, it pinched his butthole closed permanently.
Oh, no.
So Lapin not Lapin, but Biat gonna die. Biat can't. Biat's gat don't work.
Oh, it's gonna get bloated.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rough when anything finally passes, if it does. So he was unable to make the stench. Now Corporal Lapin was left behind because his friend Bale just left him there, and he got pinched so bad his entire ass was left red. Like he had the red ass. The story lists he had the red ass.
Don't you hate it when you have the red ass?
And ended up splashing in the mud with the piglets, and the rest of the town showed up and laughed at him because they were in on it as he ran off with his red ass showing because his pants got all torn up.
Oh, no.
Leaving his red booty out for everybody to see.
Now I kind of feel bad for him.
Crawfish emerged from the mud with all of her kin and yelled back not to mess with this town no more, and don't you be making that stink and killing no good people.
Damn.
So I absolutely love this story because the skunk stank so bad it killed half the world. Crawfish pinched his butthole closed and ran him and his best friend Jackrabbit off.
I like how like the punishment for like killing half the world is like
I'm gonna fuse
butt crack.
I'm gonna fuse your anus closed. So, like, the thing is like, I started out with just the Coffin Cutters, which is a cool story, because remember, we saw the thing, like, I think it was on Etsy, someone made a t-shirt of, like, all these cryptids in Louisiana, but the problem is like, the Coffin Cutter's not a cryptid, it's a legit...
Yeah. It's a legit creature, and it's a colloquial term for, like, crawfish in the area, but
right,
it's also
of like one specific crawfish, but it's like it's not the one that's actually doing any of this stuff. However, I got to thank Homa for this.
Oh, the town of Homa.
The town of Homa, Louisiana, their newspaper. I got to thank for this. So there is in Shreveport, Louisiana, Mudbug Madness is a 4-day crawfish celebration. It is in Shreveport, and according to the Homa newspaper said, the most un-Cajun city in the entire state of Louisiana is the one that has a crawfish festival. And I was like, thank you, Homa, because you didn't say where we live in Monroe.
So wait, Homa is the most un-Cajun?
No. Homa said Shreveport is the most un-Cajun.
I fucking, like, I blanked out for a second.
They said that Shreveport is the most un-Cajun city in Louisiana, and they're the ones that have a mudbug festival.
I mean, we're not far behind.
No, but like, I have to love this. Like, an actual Cajun city down in deep South Louisiana is like, the fuck you got a crawfish festival for? You're not even Cajun.
I mean, it's like, even Lake Charles is pretty.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Charles.
Wait, what's wrong with Lake Charles?
I do not like that city, and that is actually Texas, not Louisiana, with the way it is.
What about Beaumont, Texas?
That's in Texas.
Yeah, and
it's still
Lake
Texas.
Charles is in Louisiana. It's
yeah,
Texas.
yeah, and Lake Charles acts like freaking East Texas instead of West Louisiana. Now, there are places between Texas and Lake Charles that act Louisiana, but every time I've been to Lake Charles, the 3 times I have been there, so it is limited, I have not enjoyed it. The city does not feel like Louisiana. It has no culture, and they put greens in their gumbos.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Like, they have, like, legit, it turns the whole gumbo green.
So what does that make us? Are we just Louisiana?
We're South
basic
Arkansas.
flavor.
We're South Arkansas.
Basic flavor Louisiana.
Yeah. We're West Mississippi.
I mean, I like to think that, like, we're
West Mississippi with a little salt, because we know what seasoning is.
I mean, let's not. I mean, we're part of the River Delta, so
yeah, but so is Mississippi, and they still don't know what salt is a lot of times.
I mean, they did. Us in Mississippi, well, mostly Mississippi, helped make blues music. So
that's because of like hate crimes.
You're just bringing it down, man. I'm trying to like talk up the South, and you're like, well, you know, there's like
we know what we are. We know what we experienced. Like, the only thing I can say is, much like Monster of the Week, you gain experience from failure.
We are not like Monster of the Week. We have not gained any experience from our failures.
No. My references, LouisianaSportsman.com fishing, The Devil in Your Ditch, the Homa Today news story, that we hate everything about Shreveport. That's not the name of the article, but no, the Homa Today is the newspaper that gave me the information about saying that, like, Homa threw so much shade at freaking Shreveport.
I mean, who doesn't throw shade at Shreveport?
I do. Crawfishcafe.com. What are the most common types of crawfish? Our guide. Ooh. Crawfish of Louisiana by Jerry G. Walls, a book of poetry. Missouri Department of Conservation, mdc.mo.gov, Devil Crawfish. www.rouses.com about blog the Louisiana Indians, Cajuns, and Crawfish, the history. MyNewOrleans.com, Crawfish Myth and Reality. www.lpb.org, programs Native Waters and Chickamauga Recollection, Native American Waters and Chickamauga Recollection transcript. www.nativelanguages.org, Chickamauga. And www.shibiju.com, Crawfish.
Well, thank you for bringing this, because this wasn't a cryptid. This wasn't like supernatural. It was just
fun.
A cool bit of Louisiana folklore, a little bit of native folklore, and it was tied to something that is very real here.
I mean,
it's very interesting to have like that dynamic as opposed to us just bringing, the usual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I picked this one because Coffin Cutters sounded cool, and it was on that thing that someone made on Etsy, and so like a third of what's on that Etsy shirt is not in Louisiana.
Well, there's a stuff on that Etsy shirt, like the stuff from Shreveport that I tried to look up. I didn't see anything about it.
We need to find out about the Bossier Lumberjack. I've only seen like one website, so
yeah,
maybe
I didn't see. I actually, like, when I looked it up, I incidentally found stuff about the P farm, and I found that more interesting.
Also because of TikTok, we need to look into Juju Road and Bossier. Yeah. Which, by the way, I like how the AI on TikTok pronounces Bossier City. Bossier. Okay, Bossier sounds so much better than Bossier. Like, this is the only time I'm like, I'm sorry, TikTok AI, you might got this. But no, it's the reason I like this is it's a real creature. There's stories connected to it. And then it led me down a chain of folklore and native beliefs that's really cool because I never stopped and thought about the crawfish being important, but both the Homa and the Chickamauga, they use the crawfish as a totem.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume so, simply because they were in this area, and many of the native people here would, use all the surrounding environment to kind of like, bolster their stories. But thank you for bringing this up, and thank you for listening. We are Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. Make sure to check us out on Blue Sky, Facebook. We are on Facebook. We are on Patreon. We do not have any sort of monetary things on Patreon, but if you want to just join that, just let us know if you're a fan and give us any sort of feedback. And any other place that we post, please like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. But we are also Team Bonus Action.
Team Bonus Action is a group of friends that play on Sundays and Mondays, usually D&D. However, we're going to be branching out a little bit more. Generally, we are associated with charity, but due to the reality of life, our charity clerics are a little busy. So right now, both Backwoods Obscura and Team Bonus Action would like you to donate to either the ACLU to help continue the fight for civil liberties and civil rights for people across the country, or to donate to either St. Jude or the Trevor Project, because helping children have a brighter future is the goal of every adult, or, and I'll say this in all seriousness, should be.
Yes. So I hope you had fun listening, and I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is over there.
Hey, Chris, before you go, what is the worst ghost insect to run into?
What's that?
Boobies.